more lives than I care to do, but it has to be done as more and more new followers come on board. I go in waves and new comments, some people overlapping. Again, some serious issues that are completely false. I'm going to go through this, the UN, international law, as it really is. More importantly, everybody, you're hearing it as it really is, as the world really operates, verifiable, factual, and 100% honest. You won't get that anywhere else in Canada, sorry. Very, very few are going to come forward with this stuff, but it's all there for you. The United Nations crafted first over out west. That's the truth. Moved to New York. 5 of the organs, which there are six organs of the UN, principal organs. These are itemized and listed absolutely in the UN Charter of 1945, binding on every country in the world with UN status. Binding. Every nation in the world voted World War II. This is how the world goes forward. They put the faith in the 5 allies, gave them absolute authority, including authority in the number 1 organ of the UN. You can all read this now. Is the UNSCP5. Queen Elizabeth II told you, colonial Canada, told you, all citizens of Canada, twice in her lifetime, 2 times she was allowed on the very limited last organ, number 6 General Assembly, the lowest tier of the United Nations, which is all the countries, UN states of the world. No authority whatsoever unless granted through the UNSC binding 5. The only authority they have is to present ideas in open, pure democracy. Any idea they wish. They can get a resounding majority, but again, the power of the 5, any one of them says, no way, I'm vetoing it, it's in the garbage can. That is how the world works. The UN Charter is very clear, articulates everything that the world is supposed to do going forward. And yes, there are many, not a whole lot, but many, dozens of binding laws in this world. Binding by the P5. They said, yes, we bind this absolute, which means it's absolute on every country of the world, and they will punish governments from all over the world anytime they individually or together feel like they should, including take a life. They will do that. That is the power. That is the power we all voted so that there would never be another world war. There is no NWO legally allowed to continue. Countries are participating in that. General Assembly states are going rogue against the P5. The P5 catch up with them all the time. It's in the news year after year, months after months. All the time they catch up to these, what they call rogue regimes, who've taken governments, decided to hand out their own brand of justice and human rights, and the UNSC gets them. Including they'll blow up a caravan of would-be rogue dictators and military incumbents who've taken over a country, or a political party that's taken over a country and decided the value of human life as they see it, and then they get executed. Sometimes it goes into court. ICJ, International Court of Justice, is a fall on your face, another organ that is overshadowed and absolutely under the thumb of the P5. Now, all countries of the UN General Assembly have the option to go to the ICJ. However, the citizens, the UN citizens themselves, cannot go to the ICJ and bind any government in power in any UN state. It's voluntary. If a government is ever guilty, are they ever going to voluntarily go to a court when they know they're guilty and they're going to lose. First Nations, this is the truth. You don't have your sovereignty, I'm sorry. If it was true, you wouldn't be on reserves, there wouldn't be unceded land, there wouldn't be ceded land, but outstanding claims. Métis wouldn't be in the situation they're in different demographics depending on regions. Inuit would have more. They would be in NORAD. They would have a real say, just like they do in Russia and the United States. But not in Canada. Not in Canada. I am sorry. I did not make this country. I did not write the Constitution. And I didn't build the political system, everybody. What I'm building is the path out of it. And you can't leave the UN. Again, all these people talking about all these non-binding agreements, UNESCO and on and on and on. Show me where they're ratified. All these things you keep throwing in my face, everybody. And this isn't for most of you. These are for those new who come on and you keep coming with the same old crap. And it's PPC crap. Maxime Bernier's bullshit. Maxime Bernier, you are a liar. A complete fraudulent liar about the UN, and everybody in your party propagating it is no better than Justin Trudeau's filthy, corrupt, dirty liberals, and neither were the CPC. That is the absolute truth, and you will not find any world expert to come forward and put their name on your bullshit. That's reality, and I'm mad because I get tired of over and over liars and losers from every walk telling Canadians full-blown lies to destroy them, to destroy their country, and destroy everything their children are ever going to have. You mess with my kids and I will bust you. I will break you, and I will do it in the best, with the best, and on the best platforms in the world. And they're on my side, not yours. And you can go on TV, you can claim, and you're nothing but a fat, filthy liar, dirty, diseased, taking money from the taxpayers, getting paid right now by none other than Justin Trudeau. Your Majesty. Cut it all, Max. Cut down all your radical lunatics that you give platforms to, that you send out in your little warrior groups. They're going to assassinate my character. You're done, bud. You and your loser political group of buddies from every walk and every aisle are done. We're going to the ICC, the top tier of the UN that has full authority all over all of you corrupt losers. That's reality. Canadians, this is truth in absolute, verifiable, factual, and backed up absolutely in law. You will not find a single law firm anywhere in any international law to dispute what I've put in the title and what I've articulated for you today. You've just gotten a first-class education on how the world really works. And none of those countries, you can go through China, Russia, USA, UK, France, are going to come to the defense of any of these filthy politicians and their wild lies that they perpetuate and continue to go forward day after day, telling as many susceptible Canadians, oh, we can leave the UN. Oh, look what the UN's the evil monster. It's not our politicians. Give us the crown. We're going to use the autocracy to ruin your lives further and give you our brand of how governance works so we can fill our back pockets like all the rest of the filthy, corrupt, colonial autocrats. The crown-embedded power of Canada's Constitution was to be amended post-1952, but the politicians, King George died, and they went, shh, don't tell, liberals, conservatives alike, and every party and every member of every Privy Council knows this is 100% accurate, verifiable, and truthful. But they continue forward lying to you each and every day, demanding more donations, putting up more websites by more groups, telling you that it's all these non-binding agreements that your country pulled out of a garbage can, and enacted on you, the citizens. It isn't international law. The UN did not mandate this on you. Your Canadian politicians mandated these gross abuses on you because Canada doesn't have sovereignty. Again, everybody, doesn't have any sovereignty. They give it away. First thing they do in the Canadian Constitution, read your preamble. You will find out that Canada has always given away its sovereignty. Now, in 1952, it was absolutely Canada's sovereignty. King George made it to Canada. People ask me, well, why was India got its independence? How did that happen? That was in 48. King George had a massive, massive United Kingdom with many colonial countries attached. He only had, since the war in that date, post 41, to get it all done. Do you know how many countries we're talking about? UK was the biggest colonizer in the world's history. UK was the biggest of the biggest. Way bigger than Germany ever could have gotten. Nobody likes to talk about that, but that's true. UK isn't that animal anymore. They are not that animal anymore. You know, they don't perpetuate any of that. Hasn't been that way for a very long time. For Canada, it hasn't been that way since 1952. Old King George didn't get Canada to where India is today, or New Zealand, or Australia. He died before he could finalize. He was in the middle of Canada. He died abruptly. Sorry, everybody. That's gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. His daughter didn't know much because she was a World War II veteran, 17 years old. Her father had her out on the front lines in London. She was a mechanic. That's what her job was, in full military garb. She was out there on the front lines fighting on the mean streets of London from 17 right through the war. She didn't get no education, you guys. Look at the dates, go back through the years. She ascended when she was 27 years old. Knew nothing. Powerful, strong lady. Knew nothing. The government had made a deal. Her father made a deal with the P5. And her official powers were over. Ceremonial only. Let the countries catch up. Let the countries' governments get it all done. And what did they do? They stole the power for themselves. That's reality. Everybody, if it's not one of the 6 organs you're talking about, and you bring organizations of UN stature, but were never bound in international law, what do you want me to tell you? Oh, the evil UN? No, your evil country politicians pulled that out of a UN garbage can and administered it on you, the people. You in your country, because you have no sovereignty. That's reality. Over and over I go through. You guys keep bringing them to me, and it's, listen, if it isn't part of the 6 organs absolutely in that structure, and the UNSC doesn't have its full 5 stamp on it, don't bring it to me. You're just bringing more non-binding bullshit that only shows you clearly your elected politicians in those time frames took that out of the garbage can and imposed it all on you. What do you think UNDRIP is? Do you think UNDRIP is going to be what the world was looking at? No, because the world said, you know what, there's problems with this. It's not a one-size-fits-all. UNSC said, nope, it's gone. It's gone. We're done. Doesn't matter one or all. And it was only one.